that she is deeply concerned about me. That she has always been, even as a kid, connected to me spiritually. That girl will go to sleep and dream something about me in a minute. So I apologize for that, because I know for a fact that that child made some decisions in her life. She had an opportunity to be in Paris. She could have been doing so many different things, but she chose to stick around and keep an eye on her mother. And I had to call her and apologize and let her know that everything I did it for the same reasons that my grandmother told me when she passed. Mama didn't mean you no harm. I was just trying to make you strong. And I just didn't realize that when my season changed, and it was okay for me to exhale, I still was going. Tyra, again, she said, the Lord showed her that I was clearing the forest of trees. She said I was in the forest chopping down trees. And she said, Lord, what's she doing? And she said, the Lord told her, tell her she's going in the wrong direction. I didn't have a problem with her chopping the trees. I told her to chop the trees, but she's going in the wrong direction. And I said, what? And we laughing, but it was the truth. She said, baby, when I tell you you leveled that forest, she said, why not? It was demons coming through there, and they had their hands up, waving white flags and surrender, saying we just passing through. She said you was taking she said you was taking out everything in your path. So I understood when she told me that. It took me back again. And Tyra told me this almost 20 years ago. And I was like, Lord, forgive me. Forgive me. I don't like to lose. I don't like the devil just as much as he don't like me. And I've always said that, Father, if you endow me, I'll never stop fighting. I'll spend my last breath fighting for the kingdom, what you tell me to do. I just needed to be, positioned like children are arrows in our hands. I needed to be aimed. Somebody needed to turn me around and aim me in the right direction. Because you can be just taking out stuff and it ain't time to take it out yet. But I hadn't been taught that. I was just taught, go kill them, go get them. So I was learning backwards. I had to fight in me. But I needed to know how and when. I needed strategy. And so I've been doing on-the-job training. And God has placed people in my life in different intervals to teach me spiritual warfare and the basics and the foundation of it. But when it came to that deep stuff, I had to be out there in the field on the ground, figuring it out. He had to show me, like, hey, this is why I have you over here. Because the analytical aspect of it, it wasn't working. It was a spiritual aspect, that element that needed to be, I needed to learn all of that, and I needed to have that within me, not off of somebody else. So let's read this again. Resentment is also known as bitterness and the basic foundation of hatred. Now, resentment combines feelings of fear, anger, and disappointment. You see that? So you have resentment that the reason why we have resentment is because we've experienced all these emotions all at one time or in different intervals, and resentment combines them because what has happened is that they have not been dealt with. And back to the hair analysis, she told me, she said, you've had a lot of trauma in your life, and it's been back to back to back, and you have not had time to heal. She says, so your liver is toxic. I'm walking around feeling fine, didn't know nothing was wrong with me. I'm like, what? She said, I can tell by your nails, the color of your nails, your eyes. She said, your liver's toxic. You have an overflow of metals. Because when trauma comes, the body does not release metals like it's supposed to and holds on to them. Now remember I said earlier, you like this all the time, waiting. That's what your organs are doing. Your body is waiting, is guarding us up. So it's not releasing metals because it's thinking we going to need them. We going to need them, so it's trying to protect itself, like the X-Men. Like, I can't remember, who is it? Colossal or somebody? Where they can put a layer over themselves, protect themselves. So no matter what kind of blow they get, you know, it doesn't hurt as bad. And that's what we're doing. That's what has happened to us. It says, resentment. There is no one cause of resentment, but in most cases involve an underlying sense of an overlying and overwhelming sense of being mistreated or wronged by another person. When feelings become too overwhelming, they can contribute to resentment. When this happens, relationships are broken and sometimes never repaired. Now this is what WebMD says about resentment. So anybody that studies psychology, people that work in mental illness, they already know this, right? So the scripture that came up for me was bitterness, rotten the bones, and that's in Hebrews 12 and 15, and I'll read it for you, and I'll say it again. Hebrews 12 and 15. Now this is just one scripture. You can keep looking them up. You can keep doing your own research, because this is self-discovery. Because God deals with us first. So this is you digging deep in yourself and being honest, or even asking God to reveal to you, okay, Lord, show me what happened. Clearly I don't remember. What happened to me, the reason why I can't stop swinging. The bell went wrong and I'm in the ring, I'm still swinging. I'm still clearing the forest. What happened to me? What train of thought, what mindset have I adapted that I have, subscribed to that has me thinking, even though I know what I'm looking at in plain sight, but subconsciously I'm somewhere else. Thinking that I still have to fight a battle that's already been won, that's already over. Because I don't have, like I said, nobody in my family had prolapse issues, so you explain to me why I'm picking up my uterus and my bladder, putting it in my back pocket to go to work every day. And I'm still going to work. It just didn't make sense to me, so I needed answers. And God began to reveal to me those answers. So now that situation is fixed, and now I'm dealing with, okay, what's wrong with my bones? 12 and 15 says, let me pick this up so I can read it correctly. I'm going to start with 14. Pursue peace with all people and holiness, without which no one will see the Lord. Nobody ain't going to see him without it. Looking carefully, lest anyone fall short of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springs up and cause trouble. By this, many become defiled. My God in heaven. I'm telling you, I was blown away. I was sitting there, tears streaming down my face. I'm just crying. I'm just like, Lord, I'm just crying. Just crying. 12:15, according to TacomaChristianCounseling.com. So I'm assuming this is the American Bible version. If you have a bitter root, it affects others whether you see it or not. By removing that bitter root, you preserve peace and faith among your relatives, friends, co-workers, and others. It is worth the fight not only for you, but for everyone else who is involved. So when people are resentful, they have a hard time forgiving. So I said, Lord, who am I resentful of? Because I minister to people to forgive and forgive really quick. So the Lord brought me back to when my mother passed. It's been about 20 years. I did not know that I resented her for that. And many of you already know that she committed suicide. So what happened was, when the Lord showed me what happened, that what she was doing, and I went to her house to stop her. I'm going to fast forward to when she actually did it. I heard the gunshot twice. I kicked the bedroom door, ran in, and she was falling over in the bed. and I was holding her, and I immediately started praying in the spirit. And then I noticed, I literally saw her eyes roll in the back of her head. I'm holding her head. She fell over in the bed, and I'm on the other side holding her. And I saw her spirit. I saw her spirit leave her body. I called my daughters, two of my daughters at the time. They were young, because I was frantically holding her. She fell over in the bed, but she had a huge headboard with all the shelves and stuff. Her phone always sat up there. I'm desperately looking for the phone because the phone was not on the base. The woman knew what she was going to do. She had hid the phone. So I called one of my daughters to find the phone. I let her head go. My babies come in. They are in shock. They standing there frozen. I drop her. I lay her down. I run around the bed, and I pull her out. And I pull the kids out. I make them leave because I realized they're traumatized. I had to go in the kitchen and get that phone. When I called 911, screaming, come, I go back. I know enough about God. I truly believed in my soul that I was going to be able to petition God and He was going to fix this. I remember crying and praying in the spirit, and I said, Mommy, don't leave me here. I thought I said that. I said, Mommy, don't leave me here by myself. She said, look at my face. I said, we can fix this. I said, God can fix this. And I remember seeing myself at His feet. And I said, make her come back. So something in me believed that this was getting ready to be a Lazarus moment. And I said, I went up there and demanded He make her come back. And He just softly responded and said, I gave her a choice. And He showed me where I began to feel resentful, because I realized that she chose to leave. And there still needed to be some resolution and some other things family-wise. And at that time, my mother and our relationship was reconciled, so she was my safe place when I wasn't getting along with, my siblings, and different things would be going on. And let me tell you something, honey. I don't know if you heard the saying about funerals and weddings, how, folk get to acting a fool. But when I tell you the fake that was exposed, it was overwhelming. And I know it was fake, because when I tell you, the Lord began to reveal fake in the family, and now there was documentation of things I was finding, letters, pictures, and stuff that she kept that revealed truth about different things that was going on. So when I had people telling me, your mama's gone now, and she this, and I'm sitting here thinking, this wasn't just no regular suicide. This was deeper than this. It's something God is trying to show me. And I couldn't get anybody to get on a page with me to help me understand what was happening, because I could feel it in my spirit. I could see it, but I didn't have any clear understanding of what was going on. And my trauma was blocking me from hearing, understanding the revelation that God was trying to give me. To this day, as family members, we're not that close to it. And when I tell you that mac and cheese was fake, baby, and they don't even know I know the truth, because the woman kept documentation. Yeah. Even when I took care of my grandparents after she died, when my grandmother died and we cleared out the house and I went through her stuff, the stuff I learned. This is why this is called The Truth Hurts. Because them secrets, when I learned that truth, it hurt. And it was because I had learned all this stuff in church about ancestral curses and how they come in. And then I go through this trauma, and now I'm like, I wasn't even there that day. I ain't have nothing to do with nothing. Why is this all coming up on me? Why am I the one chosen to deal with this? I got kids. What does this have to do with me? I couldn't understand it because I learned too much too soon before I had a chance to even learn and process the foundation of what was really going on. So I kept it. Never telling the truth about what was being said, what was being done to who stole what. Never telling the truth. That day is over. God let me know with the dragon. I split his head open. So it's like, okay, you come on. Because I'm free. The last name, the names of God was Redeemer. And I asked the question, what are you redeemed from? I've been redeemed from myself. He's saving me from myself so that I can be effective for him. So that's why my joints and all of this hurting, because all this, it says when you have locked up emotions. Because you're afraid to express them. You're afraid to tell the truth. You spend your whole life performing. Yes, you are a nice person because that's who you choose to be. But there's things that still should have been dealt with. Conversations that still should have been had. That would have allowed the true self, the true identity that God created you, the predestined person, to flow like they're supposed to. Because see, like I say all the time, the enemy slow walk you down. He don't have a problem with that. Okay, you passed that test or you weathered that storm. Okay, I'm going to wait 10 years later down the road. I got something else for you. Because I never really got a chance to mourn my mother until later. So stuff was coming in. You understand? He showed me I was resentful of one of my daddies. I got 3. Why? Because he taught her how to hold the gun. Just in random, regular conversation, he told her how to properly hold the gun if you ever wanted to kill yourself. That's how come people kill themselves and survive and end up vegetables and stuff. Just random conversation. And the enemy used that. And that's the truth, because even as I was holding her head and I could not find, I saw the gun and even the smoke coming from the gun. And like I said, I caught her as her body was flopping down on the bed, but I didn't see the bullet. I'm thinking it's in her somewhere, so I'm checking. And what happened was, as I'm holding her head, blood is oozing out from the top of her head. And I turned her face, and there was one here in the cheek. So I'm looking around, and I found one bullet lodged in the wall. And so the Lord showed me that I was angry because my mind said, who in their right mind would tell somebody that? The enemy used him to give her information, knowing that she already had unresolved trauma herself from her childhood. See how he'll set you up? So every time it looks like things are getting to go right where they're supposed to go, my dreams, I'm doing things, next thing I know, the rug is pulled out. Because there's a setup. And I'll talk about that next time, because I even had a high-ranking spirit say, I was assigned to her and her kids a long time ago to make sure that they never succeed. And she told the pastor that I was sitting under at the time, she said, I'll let her get right to the door. I'll even let her open it and stick her foot in, and then I'll slam it shut. So now I'm resentful again because I'm trying to understand, okay, why is this happening to me? Because to the world, I look like, what's wrong with Rhonda? She always going through something. It was always something. I'm thinking the same thing. What's happening? When there were some things assigned, that dragon was looking for me. Because when he found me, when he made eye contact with me, out of all the people that was walking around out there, that's when he made his move. Because other than that, he stayed sat perched right where he was. And again, nobody saw him but me. So I'm thanking God for revelation. One of the prayers I posted was for thanking God for the times. Part of it was thanking him for the times that we forgot to say thank you. And I'm saying, Lord, forgive me for the times I forgot to say thank you, because you didn't have to spare me. I could have been just out there. God didn't have to cover me. He didn't have to deliver me. He didn't have to redeem me. He didn't have to show me. You understand what I mean? Because there's been things that I've done, and that was the second part. He showed me that I resented myself because of the choices that I made. My peers have no idea the shame that I carried by having 2 kids out of wedlock in high school and trying to redeem myself, not even realizing that I already been redeemed because of Christ's blood. But the ridicule that I went through, and the judgments and the criticisms, and I mean, I was making good grades and I was doing this and doing that, and it just seemed like I just could not do enough to get the approval and the acceptance, man. And this is why Tyra was saying I'm clean now. And it just broke me, because it just helped me realize that I thought this is what I had to do, because this is what I was taught, so that God would accept me, love me, anoint me, protect me, and my kids from what was happening to us that I couldn't explain. So subconsciously, I'm resentful, wanting you not good enough, not knowing that I'm 53 years old and looking in the mirror up until, at 50, like, what's wrong with you? So people would look at me and pat me on the back, girl, you so talented, and you this and you that, and it's like, so I remember telling somebody, I am the smartest, most gifted, talented black woman, brokest black woman I know. So if my gift has not made room for me, it must be something wrong with me, right? It gotta be something wrong with me. It gotta be something I did. It gotta be another door that I've opened up. It gotta be something in my bloodline. It gotta be something one of my ancestors did. So you spend a lifetime in your Christian walk looking for all the things that are wrong. You don't live life. You're not truly happy. You just go and you go and you go and you go. Even if you are on vacation, all you thinking about is what needs to be dealt with when you get back home. I know that's what I did. Never really sitting and enjoying the moment, because he does want us to have life, and that more abundantly. He wants us to enjoy life. He wants us to enjoy our relationships. He wants to enjoy, being married and having fun and doing things and children and grandchildren, family time. He honors family. And I had to call my baby and apologize and let her know, now I see why my kids are Lone Rangers for pretty much, especially them last 2. They got that from me. Because I didn't want to make myself look like a fool anymore. So I figure if I stay in my own space, when I screw up, don't nobody know it but me. And that's not what God was expecting. I was supposed to learn so it would develop me and make me into who I am today, who I'm developing in today. I'm a little late getting here, but it's okay, because I've been redeemed. So, one of the things that I'm going to talk about right quickly is, you say, okay, well, how do you get past that? How do you do that? I wrote down, you pray for yourself. Forgiveness is one thing, but love is a totally different thing. Ask God to teach you how to love yourself. the way that he loves you. Because we get caught up in these things and we end up loving other people and doing the most for other people more than we do ourselves. I'm going, thinking that at the end of the road, you know, it's all going to work out and my kids going to see it and understand it. And I got all this stuff going on and I know it's not supposed to be there. And worrying the crap out my kids. Why? Luana, you got love in your life, all of that. Because I need to learn how to love myself more. That's why. I gotta love me. My big nose, my wide cheek, I need to love me. And understand that it's about my Redeemer. It's not even about me. Where I feel like I have to be running around doing all this stuff that they say I gotta do to get to him. Oh, I mean, come on. How are we tricked into that? I mean, that's like really drinking the Kool-Aid for real. This is like those people laying around out in them ashes, they're spiritually dead, they're emotionally dead, you know, and don't even know it. Just going along. Some of us do know. We just don't know how to get out of it. Pray for yourself. Forgive yourself, and then ask God to teach you how to love yourself. That baby sat there and told me, she said, Mama, I'm going to write you a plan on self-care. And I'm like, Jesus, help me. Coming out of the mouths of babes. Use self-compassion. Have compassion for yourself. Really. It's okay. Have compassion for yourself. Have some empathy for yourself. Really. And learn, I put here, learn to be thankful. Have some gratitude. Learn to be thankful for your positives. Stop looking at what's wrong, what you need to fix. Because there's a lot of people fixers like me. Learn to be grateful for your positives. Because everything about you is not negative. Get that out of your subconscious. Get that out of however it was planted in your DNA. Get it out. Be grateful. Because we made in his image. Lord, thank you for making me in your image. You don't make no junk. You don't make no mistakes. Thank you for making me in your image. Thank you for giving me the mind of Christ. I have the mind of Christ. Christ didn't think down on himself. And he shows us how to get past that. How to get past the human element of being in this world, right? Now we're going to talk about, I didn't mean to stay this long, I'm sorry. But we're going to talk about emotions and how it affects. So you'll get a better understanding of what I'm saying. And then you can pray, and then you can dig deeper in this. There's tons of books, things out there that show you. Even Joyce Meyer wrote one years ago about emotion and the body. We know that, I know for a fact that fear attacks the kidneys. I learned that, you know, when I was helping my husband. But fear and worry attacks the kidneys. So now we get ready to see how each thing, just a couple of them now, how each thing begins to affect the body and you don't know. And I'm hoping, one of the things I hope to get out of this, Lord, is that we as a people, period, will begin to pay attention to what's going on with us, that we will have better coping skills with trauma so that it cannot set up root in our bodies and cause us problems, right? So this is what I came up with when I Googled, and I'll put these different passages at the end of the thing, but it's a lot of different resources out here. Psychology Today, all of that. Nervousness, stress, fear, anxiety, Caution, always super, super careful. Nothing wrong with caution, but when it's, and again, these are things that happen to us in the extreme when they're overwhelming. I'll start over. Nervousness, stress, fear, anxiety, caution, boredom, restlessness, happiness, joy, hurt, shyness, coyness, humility, awkwardness, confidence, subservience, depression, lethargy, playfulness, sensuality, and anger can all manifest through the feet and the legs. How is trauma stored in the body? The energy of trauma is stored in our body's tissues, primarily muscles and fascia. I have skeletal and muscular issues going on with me now from trauma. My husband being sick, it was trauma. Paranoid, trusting God, but leaning over in the middle of the night, making sure he's still breathing. Paranoid, trauma. Primarily the muscles and fascia until it can be released. This trauma typically leads to pain and progressively erodes the body's health. Emotions are the vehicle that the body relies on to find balance after trauma. So if that emotion is not handled properly, it cannot bring balance. It can't. Where is anxiety stored in the body? The three key areas in the body that have the potential to be most affected by emotional forces are the pelvic floor. Mine collapsed. They had to put my uterus, my bladder, my rectum, and part of my lower intestine back in place. Did you hear me? I ain't kidding. The diaphragm, always got chest pains, and the jaw. And I know because when I get stressed out, my teeth start to hurt. And got to the point where I remember I used to open up like a bottle of nail polish when I was working with my teeth, and I cracked a tooth, and it went from there. I fell, same left knee, fell and tore the ligaments in there, fell down a flight of stairs after my mama died. Stress, just tripping. Working, trying to get to a client. Should have been asleep. Nope, I gotta go to work. I was working at the post office, okay? Fell down these stairs, they put me on these ibuprofen. Next thing I know, my teeth started cracking. All my stress went to my jaw. So